Hello ladies and gentlemen and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I am your host Brett Murphy, and for today's video it is going to be, yep, you guessed it, another ranking. And I am going to be ranking all 4 of the Indiana Jones movies. So Indiana Jones 5 is just about a year out. So I figured why not take the time to do a quick little video discussing how I feel the 4 films we already have stack up against one another. Before I get into the actual ranking, I just wanted to let you all know that I have an entire playlist dedicated to all of my ranking videos. So be sure to check that out, and I guarantee you'll find something you like. And with all that being said, let's hop right into things. Number 4. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Oh, we all saw this one coming. Now, I don't want to start this video off on the wrong foot, however, because I definitely do not hate this movie. In fact, I feel it actually retains much of the charm and sense of adventure of its predecessors. It just falls flat in a few too many areas to be considered as great as the first 3. Firstly is the heavy over-reliance on CGI. I mean, I get for some of them that Harrison Ford has aged, but I mean, a stunt double would have done just fine. Secondly is that although Indy has tracked down and found out that many of these ancient artifacts do actually contain some mystical magical powers, Aliens just feels a step too far for some reason. And then there's just some really questionable scenes, like the swinging in the vines with the monkeys, and of course the infamous nuking the fridge scene. Although, Ford is back and as lovable as ever. Bringing Marion back was brilliant. Shia LaBeouf surprisingly held his own. And Cate Blanchett was excellent as our villain. And I think it should really go without saying, but nevertheless, despite a lot of people really not liking this movie, both Spielberg and Williams directing and composing are as spectacular as ever. Number 3. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Though I don't feel it reaches the heights of the next 2 entries, I still think it is very much so a worthy sequel overall. It picks up just before the events of the original, and does a great job at showing us some pre-Raiders Indy, getting up to his usual treasure hunting antics and shenanigans. Ford impresses once again in his second round in Indy's shoes, but it is the rest of the characters that I find I have a hard time connecting with. Short Round is an adorable and awesome little companion, however, but Willie is probably my least favorite of the Indy girls. And don't hate me, but I didn't much care for Mola Ram as the main villain, or honestly the whole cult aspect of the film in general. I do find the storytelling overall just to be weaker than the next 2 entries, but thankfully it makes up for it with some thrilling action set pieces, memorable settings, and of course, big adventure. Number 2. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It was honestly pretty close between this one and the number 1 spot, because I feel this movie has nearly no flaws at all. It's got a memorable villain in Julian Glover's Walter Donovan. It's got a ton of fast, fun, and exciting action, with tanks, horses, boats, planes, you name it. Another epic treasure hunt as they try to race against the Nazis to recover the Holy Grail. My only real issue with the movie is that I feel we spend a bit too much time with Marcus Brody. His character to me is really only digestible in short, small bursts. They really tried to use him here as this bumbling buffoon type of comedic relief, and it just never worked for me. I found the far more natural comedy between Ford and Connery to be vastly superior. And speaking of Connery, Sean freaking Connery is Indiana Jones's dad. How awesome is that? And he's as great as you'd expect, with his and Ford's chemistry being very apparent and undeniably exceptional. Number 1. Raiders of the Lost Ark. This right here is the movie I consider to be the perfect adventure movie. And with that being said, likely the greatest adventure movie of all time. Harrison Ford is slick, rugged, and charming as our lead Indiana Jones. Someone who I consider to be the perfect hero, which I actually did a video on not too long ago. My favorite part about Raiders has always been that our hero isn't an indestructible gun-toting badass. All in all, he's really just a normal dude. He gets beat, he gets hurt, he doesn't always win. I mean, in this movie, in the end, it's not even him that takes out the bad guy. The film boasts beautiful locations, an iconic and memorable score, a phenomenal supporting cast with the likes of Sala, Marion, and our main villain, Belloc. This one is truly a one of a kind, and Spielberg absolutely crushed it. And it is absolutely up there among his best work. And even though the sequels tried their best to recapture that magic, in my eyes, nothing can compare to Raiders. So that is all for today's video, folks. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with my ranking. And while you're down there, feel free to let me know what ranking you'd like to see me do next. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to see more content, consider subscribing to my channel and ringing that little bell icon. That way you can be notified about all of my latest uploads. And as always, stay safe. Thank you so much for watching. And that's a wrap. Hey you, yeah you, if you made it this far, just know I appreciate you, and while you're here, consider hitting that subscribe button.